The Alaska Highway has long been a lifeline, connecting Alaska to the rest of the U.S. This iconic route, stretching over 1,300 miles, is more than just a road. It's a symbol of resilience and connection. Through the wilds of Canada, it traverses some of the most rugged and breathtaking landscapes, from dense forests to towering mountains. But today, this vital route is at the center of a growing international dispute. The once seamless journey is now fraught with political tension. Canada, reacting to aggressive U.S. tariff threats, is considering unprecedented tolls on the highway, a move that could upend Alaska's supply chain. This potential toll could significantly impact the cost of goods and services. For truckers and businesses, the highway has always been a reliable artery. Now, uncertainty looms. The fear of increased costs and delays is palpable among those who depend on this route. The idea of tolls signals a dramatic shift in U.S.-Canada relations, threatening to raise costs and disrupt the flow of goods. This could lead to longer wait times at border crossings and increased scrutiny. As of October 6, 2025, tensions are high, with British Columbia leading the charge for tolls as a direct response to U.S. trade policies. The province argues that these measures are necessary to protect its economic interests. The story of how we reached this point is one of political maneuvering, economic pressure, and the fraying of a long-standing partnership. The future of the Alaska Highway hangs in the balance, as both nations grapple with the implications of their actions. The roots of this crisis trace back to President Trump's revival of protectionist trade policies. In March 2025, the administration announced sweeping 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods, rattling North America's economy. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau condemned the move and promised swift retaliation, preparing tariffs of his own. Though Trump delayed the tariffs for a month, uncertainty gripped both countries, especially provinces closely tied to U.S. trade. Provincial leaders, doubting Ottawa's response would be enough, began plotting their own countermeasures. The Alaska Highway quickly emerged as a key vulnerability, one that Canadian provinces could leverage. The stage was set for a new kind of cross-border standoff. In a move that sent shockwaves across both sides of the border, British Columbia Premier David Eby unveiled a bold new plan, imposing tolls on American trucks traveling the iconic Alaska Highway. The announcement caught many by surprise, instantly raising the stakes in the ongoing trade dispute between Canada and the United States. For decades, the Alaska Highway had been a vital artery for commerce and connection, but now it was at the center of a high-stakes political standoff. Eby described the tolls as a necessary defensive measure, a direct response to mounting U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods. He made it clear that these tolls would only be enacted if the trade conflict escalated further. But the threat alone was enough to grab headlines and spark debate on both sides of the border. The message was unmistakable. British Columbia was prepared to fight back if pushed. The plan was simple but effective. Add toll collection infrastructure to existing weigh stations along the highway. What had once been routine stops for truckers would now become strategic economic pressure points, capable of slowing down or increasing the cost of American goods moving north. This move would not only disrupt the flow of trade, but also send a clear signal that Canada was willing to use its geography as leverage. But Eby didn't stop there. He ordered all provincial government agencies to immediately halt the purchase of American-made products, a move designed to hit U.S. businesses where it hurt. In a further escalation, he also banned the sale of liquor imported from Republican-led states, including Alaska, sending a pointed message about the political nature of the dispute. This multi-pronged approach made it clear that Alaska, and by extension the United States, would not be immune to the consequences of federal actions. The economic pain would be felt on both sides, and the days of one-sided hardship for Canadians were over. The toll gate strategy quickly became the centerpiece of British Columbia's response, a highly visible and tangible symbol of Canada's willingness to disrupt the status quo. It was a move designed not just for economic impact, but for maximum political visibility. The message was clear. The cost of this trade war would be shared by both nations, not shouldered by Canadians alone. The era of quiet compliance was over, replaced by a new willingness to push back. The Alaska Highway, once a proud symbol of cross-border cooperation and friendship, had now become a powerful bargaining chip in a rapidly escalating economic conflict. News of possible tolls sent shockwaves through Alaska's business community. While most cargo arrives by sea, the highway is crucial for time-sensitive goods, fresh produce, milk, and vital industrial parts. Any new fees or delays would mean higher prices and reduced availability for Alaskans, especially in remote communities. The oil and gas sector, reliant on rapid overland deliveries, faces costly disruptions. The Alaska Trucking Association warned that tolls would drive up transportation costs, ultimately hitting consumers. Interior and northern towns, already facing high costs, would be hit hardest. The Canadian plan, aimed at Washington, threatens to inflict immediate pain on ordinary Alaskans. Alaskan leaders responded with concern, urging both federal governments to seek a diplomatic solution. Governor Mike Dunleavy called for calm, warning that unilateral provincial actions would only harm innocent people. Yukon Premier Ranj Pillai echoed that the measures targeted U.S. policy, not Alaskans, but insisted Canadian sovereignty was at stake. Truckers, like Alaska State Senator and driver Robert Myers, described the tolls as a direct threat to their livelihoods. The Alaska Trucking Association stressed that the highway is a shared asset, and turning it into a battleground would disrupt essential supply chains. For those who rely on the route, the prospect of new fees and delays is a source of deep anxiety. The once open road now feels like a front line in a trade war. The Alaska Highway was born out of wartime necessity, a bold response to a world suddenly changed by conflict and uncertainty. Built in 1942 as a strategic link after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the highway was a lifeline for North America's defense. U.S. and Canadian forces, including thousands of African American soldiers, who had long been denied equal opportunity, braved brutal conditions, freezing temperatures, relentless mud, and swarms of insects, to carve a road through the wilderness in just 8 months. Their determination and sacrifice were extraordinary. Their achievement stands as a testament to cooperation and resolve, showing what can be accomplished when nations and people unite for a common cause. The project also helped pave the way for desegregation in the U.S. military, as the contributions of black soldiers could no longer be ignored. After the war, the highway transformed from a military asset into a vital economic link, opening up the North to trade, travel, and new opportunities. It became a symbol of the enduring U.S.-Canada alliance, a physical reminder of what two nations can achieve together. Today, the idea of tolls feels like a betrayal of that legacy, threatening to turn a route built on partnership and shared sacrifice into a point of division and frustration. Instead of uniting communities, tolls risk creating barriers, both literal and symbolic, between neighbors who have long depended on each other. The highway's history is a reminder of what's at stake, not just commerce and convenience, but the spirit of cross-border friendship, trust, and mutual respect that has defined this region for generations. The current dispute is more than a policy fight. It's a test of the values that built the highway in the first place, and a challenge to the unity forged in hardship. As we debate the future, we must ask ourselves, will the legacy of the Alaska Highway endure as a beacon of cooperation and hope, or will it be lost to political brinkmanship and short-term interests? The answer will shape not just a road, but the relationship between two nations for years to come. British Columbia's toll threat was just the beginning. Other provinces quickly joined in. Ontario slapped a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S., targeting interconnected power grids and raising costs for American consumers. The Yukon halted liquor purchases from U.S. suppliers and restricted American companies from bidding on government contracts. Some Yukoners even called for their own tolls and bans on prominent Americans, reflecting deep public anger. These moves showed a united Canadian front, with provinces using every tool at their disposal to push back. The conflict had outgrown national leaders. Now, regional governments were driving the response. The trade dispute had become a complex, multi-front battle. As the standoff drags on, the risk of escalation grows. Alaska's cruise ship industry, dependent on Canadian ports, could be the next target, threatening billions in tourism revenue. Legal questions swirl over whether Canada can toll the highway, but provinces seem undeterred, citing their authority over roads. For Alaskans, the impact is immediate. Higher prices, fewer choices, and a sense of isolation. Canadians too face lost tourism and strained cross-border ties. The dispute threatens to turn a friendly border into a hard economic barrier. The only way forward is renewed diplomacy and a return to the partnership that built the Alaska Highway. The future of this vital route and the relationship it represents hangs in the balance.